trying to explain to a man that if a girl says to leave us alone, do anything but leave us alone. Unless it's said multiple times, but most of the time, girls just like, we want the attention. We want you to like...
Look, I don't know who need to hear this, but as a female, you do not have, you just a bunch of love.
Let's just be real.
Let's just be honest. Let's just be real.
Reasons why you don't want to come over here faking to be a lesbian. One time I had a girl ask me to be her girlfriend. Fully asked me. Tell her family, tell everybody. She woke up the next day and said she didn't mean to ask me. And never mind. Still want to be a lesbian?
I don't know which one of y'all straight women need to hear this, but just because you're sick of men, don't start dating studs. They're worse. They cheat better. They lie better. They then say toxic things better. Like, it is horrible. We hate it here.
If you find yourself thinking about turning to women because you're tired of men, I have one piece of advice for you.
Don't. That's the advice. Don't do it. If you tired of dating men and you thinking about dating women, think again. Have y'all even exhausted all other options first? Have you tried in a new region? How about a different side of the country? How about a different country? Have you tried getting a passport? Ain't that what they're doing? Get you a passport and go over there and get you one of them foreign. I thought men were easier. That's what y'all say. Y'all standards for men be so far underneath the earth is close to the core. And then you come over expecting a woman to hand you the universe on a silver platter. Lesbians are not a rehab center for y'all. Just because your heterosexual life ain't working out don't mean come over and exploit a lesbian for emotional and capital gain. Why don't y'all just date better? Just get you a different nigga, get a few. You tired of dating men? Stop dating. You can't be by yourself? You can't date yourself? You don't know how to be alone? Be alone.
Okay, how old are you?
Believe it or not, I'm 40.
Believe it or not, you think it's unbelievable?
Well, some people don't believe me.
How old do they think you are?
Well, of course I get carded, but they usually go 25, 26.
25?
25, 26, usually. It depends on if I'm wearing makeup and the colors I'm wearing.
Oh, okay. Get the camera situated.
I have a high sex drive. Everything still works. I'm very oral. I squirt. I have thick thighs. I have triple B chest. I'm a normal person. Everything works. The only thing is I have trouble climbing the stairs and I walk short distances. Everything else works. I eat, I sleep, I laugh, talk like a normal person.
Ma'am, if you've had these health issues, your doctor might tell you, is your heart healthy? He might be asking you, excuse me, is your heart healthy enough for these types of activities? Are you okay?
Hook it in front of that upright by the fender. Nope, go down. Whoa, too far. Hook it on the bottom of the top rail. In front of that upright. No, on the bottom of the top rail. You're on the top of the top rail. Think about it. Top, bottom. Go to the bottom of the top rail in front of the upright. Nope. Nope, that's the upright. That's the upright also. The bottom of the top rail in front of the upright.
Oh.
Okay.
You know, honestly, she took the correction and instruction. There's a lot of women out there that would have stormed off and said, don't talk to me. And then the man would have had to waste 3 hours trying to get her to be out of her feelings. And then they would have ruined their vacation because they would have gotten there a day later. Somehow it would have been the man's fault.
Once you actually get like female associates or cool with females, whatever, and you see how they treat their side, you almost never want to become a boyfriend ever in your life. Like, it ruins you, literally, seeing that shit. Like, you see the boyfriend crying, buying flowers, doing all that shit, and then you see him side and say, let's match. And he comes over and crack buns and don't get no attitude, and then she goes back and finish arguing with her boyfriend. Bro, do you know how much like mental trauma that puts on a dude witnessing that happen to another man?
Where is this Prince charming guy? Why would but you lied to us. Set us up for failure. Be out here trusting men for what? Men are good. Men are good. No, you're not. They're all liars. They're all demons.
I hate to be the one to say this, but this is not heartbreak, this is emotional instability. You don't get played by one guy and broadcast it to the entire world that all men are evil. See, you weren't lied to, you were deluded. You searched for love in bars, clubs, and hookup culture, and now you're shocked that you found no man of substance. Here's the truth, if you're attracting broken men, 9 times out of 10 it's because you're ignoring every red flag that decent men would never pass. Clubs, bars, and hookup culture are not full of men worth pursuing, and if you do pursue that, you're not a victim. So if you want to find a good man worth pursuing, start acting like a woman who values more than attention. Because a disciplined man, a man of God, is not going to be looking for a woman having a full-on meltdown blaming every man for her trauma. You see, men aren't the problem, the lies you believe are.
She don't want to hear you, Noah. She don't want to hear you at all. Not one bit.
I have a question for men, and I need you to come to the front of the classroom. I need, unfortunately, men in this scenario. So I posted a video where I said the MNBA showed up to support the WNBA All-Star Game. And there are 800 comments, and mostly men who were like, actually, it's the NBA. Now, I am aware, and there's also comments that are like, women can play in the NBA if they're good enough. They're just not good enough. And I think that, first of all, it negates the fact that we know as a society men are physically stronger, faster, things like that. That is just something that's innate that you all have. So to make it seem like talent-wise they're not good enough, when really it's the physicality of it, right? There's that. Secondly, I'm always curious, and I already know the answer. If you're the type of person who's like, it's the NBA, not the MNBA, I know that you've come through life and someone has said, oh, my sister-in-law's a female scientist or a female nurse or a female doctor or a woman engineer. And do you correct them? You probably don't. You probably don't, because you don't care. But when it's the other way around, it's like, oh my God, panties in a bunch. The men who play in the MNBA don't even care that people call it that. They don't even care. So why do you care so much? What does it take away from you if someone calls it that? And there were a lot of comments that were like, oh, top tier rage bait. I'm not even rage baiting. You guys, when we talk about emotions and women are more emotional, it's you guys.
Nick the Ruler said, ma'am, when they created all these male leagues, there was only the men's league for decades. We are just used to calling the men's leagues by their original name. Now, none of what you speak of bothers me, but I will continue to call them what I've always called them. It's weird hearing MNBA. If you and I were talking sports and you said MNBA or MNFL, I would have to ask you what you're talking about. Modern women continue to say stupid stuff for practically no reason at all. They just start naming stuff whatever they want to name it, and they expect the whole entire world to adapt.
What could he possibly be doing on a Friday?
LP?
Hi.
Hello.
What are you doing?
I'm at LTAP.
What? Without me?
I know, we totally could have boned in the bathroom if you were here. What's so funny?
I was just calling you to tell you good night.
Oh. Oh, okay, good night.
Good night.
I just saw a video of a woman who was running in a marathon, and when she looks over, she notices a friend of hers flew in from London to watch her finish. The friend flew in for like 24 hours, and she sees the friend and she immediately starts bawling. She's like crying and running, and you could tell she's like overjoyed that her friend would do such a thing. I think sometimes when men are questioning why women are choosing to be single, why some women don't want to be in relationships, and I think it's because for some women, they experience such rich relationships in their lives with their friendships and with their family, people who show up for them, who believe in them, who cheer cheer for them, who hype them up, who give them all this confidence because they're always complimenting them and being sweet towards them. It's hard to go from that to a man who won't text you back, who won't call you, who doesn't compliment you, who doesn't plan dates. I think sometimes the other relationships in a woman's life set the standard for what she will and won't settle for. She's not going to let every other relationship in her life be amazing and hers with you be like her settling for the bare minimum.
A woman in the comments said, "No, ma'am," with laughing emojis. I mean, I have some very rich relationships with my sisters, but baby, they do not and will not replace what I get from men. My man. They each have their roles. Nice try, though. Another woman said, as a quote from the video, you can tell she's overjoyed to see her friend, I think men. And she said, I thought I scrolled to a whole new video. Jenny said, even I can admit this took a crazy spin. Sunny says, that went left quick. I had hearted the video at first, but took it back because how did we get here? Somebody in the comments said, this is what it looks like to get your cheeks clapped and ghosted. She's hurting bad. I don't know how we got here. A woman said, wait, this was a plot twist. The pivot was nasty work. Somebody responded and said, a 480. A 480 pivot. They are clowning this woman. This was stupid.
They're responsible for 85% of all of the crime in this country. So if you truly cared about crime, why aren't we dealing with them?
Well, then maybe we should also talk about how some studies show that between 70 and 90% of all false accusations in family court are made by mothers during a divorce. And this is usually done just so they can get sole custody of the kids. 70+% of infant are done by biological mothers. 75+% of child neglect cases list the mother as the perpetrator. 90+% of relational bullying, and this includes rumors, exclusion, online harassment, is done by females. Go ask the older millennial. He was a victim of this. 85 to 95% of child medical is done by mothers or female caregivers. And this includes mothers or female caregivers faking or inducing illnesses in their children for attention or sympathy. Even though it's rare overall, when it comes to inappropriate teacher-student relationships, majority of the time, it's a female teacher targeting underage males. See, but you don't want to talk about any of that. So before you start pointing fingers, make sure your own hands are clean.
Talk to them.
There's a woman right now who is going to ruin her marriage because she's going to post a TikTok she thinks it's funny. And it's going to be basically embarrassing her husband. And she's going to go viral and it will disintegrate that relationship as we speak.
3 days later.
I don't know if I'm going to actually post this because this is super vulnerable for me and I'm a pretty open person. But earlier this year, I told my husband I wanted a divorce. And this would probably shock a lot of my friends and my family because I hadn't told anybody.
Men crave peace. Men just want everyone to be happy. Yeah. They crave peace. They really do. They don't know how to deal with a lot of conflict and drama, as we talked about earlier. They don't like it. I don't like it either. But men really will just shy away from it. And so they'll avoid you. They'll avoid you if they think you're being too stressed out. But this will help you understand, oh, okay, this is natural, this is normal, I'm going through it. And then you'll have a way to talk to him about it. On your terms, right? That's the thing, on your terms. You don't have to wait for him.
If you are a woman who wants a college-educated man, why aren't the college-educated men coming up to you? Particularly if you're in college, if you're around them, why isn't that happening? Do you even make yourself available? How do you make yourself available to that? Why aren't they choosing you if that's what you want? Really, it may be really hard, but if you can actually honestly get to the root, or if you can get to the answer, then I think that's when change can really happen. Change can really happen when there's truth. The truth sets people free. It really does. But one of the reasons these kind of conversations go on cycles is because we haven't gotten to the truth.
I was just reading this post on Reddit, and so many of the male commenters are saying that they don't really open up to anybody, but especially not women. And when the OP was like, well, you know, not even your girlfriends or your wives, like, isn't that the point? And the guys were like, no, like, there's 100% chance that shit will be thrown in your face later. And it made me think of one of my guy best friends back in the day who had a really bad temper. We would get into fights very often. And he would always approach me and apologize. And I complimented him on that once. Like, you know, you always make amends in our relationship. So that's why I forgive you and we just move on. And he was like, well, part of the reason I'm willing to apologize to you is you never bring it up again. I'm like, of course not. Why the fuck would I do that? People do that? And years later, I had a male roommate who pulled something like that on me. I had told him something, like confided in him about something, been vulnerable too soon into the relationship. And we got into a fight like 2 weeks later and he threw it back in my face. And I kid you not, I broke my lease and moved the out. Like, I was like, what the
Fellas, never date activist, feminist, or Me Too movement women. Friend zone them, be their friends, and never spend your energy trying to argue or convince them to change. I'm not here to convince anybody what movement or what things should happen with the world, at least not right now. But when it comes to choosing a long-term partner, you want to choose someone who has more traditional conservative values. You don't want a headache. You don't want a woman that's asking you a million questions a day or bossing you around like they're the man. You want someone that is feminine, that lets you lead, and has more conservative traditional values. Dating a feminist or activist will ruin your life. And also avoid any woman who has slept with more than 5 men, because that imprints into their brain and it causes a higher chance of divorce and cheating. When you meet traditional, incredible women, usually are first generation Americans or just have really strong family values, it's like your life has been changed forever. You're like, wait, there's actually women that think like that.
I see why men don't come up to us at clubs, bars, the gas station, all that other stuff. It's y'all females. Let me say this. This is for the ladies. Today is the youngest that you're ever going to be. So, without disrespect, if a man is approaching you, telling you that you're beautiful, saying that, hey, smile more.
Hey, smile more.
Who are you? You know, hey, I like you, or I'm interested. Be flattered. Be appreciative. Because, like I just said, today is the youngest that you're ever going to be. So, appreciate the fact that men approach you. Appreciate the fact that they find you attractive right now. Because I do. And when men approach me, I appreciate it and I give them conversation. So I need y'all to get y'all together. Because it's because of y'all that I'm not getting approached. They think that we have attitudes. They think that we're gonna embarrass them and deny them and not treat them like human beings. So I need y'all to get y'all together. And when y'all do, let me know. Good night.
Damn.
Some women, however, are tired of being ignored by men in public. They have attempted to call out their fellow sisters for their bad behavior towards men.
Unpopular opinion. Most men don't mind having a tough conversations in the manner that we think that they do. They just don't want to deal with the backlash that comes after it or during the tough conversation that they're having. One big thing that typically happens is they become the issue while dealing with the issue. And so now they have to deal with that they are the problem in some manner. Why would I want to talk to you about a problem if I'm going to become the problem? Or you start to cry and have these invisible hiccups that you just can't get rid of during this conversation. And now he has to deal with your emotional aspects of the situation instead of the actual situation. So why would he want to deal with that? Or some of y'all be redirection queens. So now you take this time to redirect to something else that he did that pissed you off at an earlier date. And now y'all gonna talk about that instead of whatever the real problem is going on right now, because he is still going to be the problem. And if he knows this, why would he not avoid having these tough conversations?
There is an epidemic that we need to talk about. Why is it that men ignore you in person? What's going on? And you know what? You're probably thinking this has only happened to me once and I'm making a video about it, but no, this has been happening years. It's years. So, for example, when I was in college, I was hanging out with this guy like on and off for a while. And I would see him at the bar all the time and he would never say anything to me, which was just, oh my God. But one time, my best friend went up to this girl that he was standing next to that he was like friends with. And she starts talking to her. And I'm with my friend, obviously. He looks at me, eyes wide open, and then turns around, walks away as fast as he possibly could all the way out the bar. All the way out the bar. And then 30 minutes later snapped me and told me to come hang out. I was like, no. Same guy. About a year ago, me and my two best friends were walking to the bar out of the Uber, and we see him and his two friends coming to the bar at the same time. Literally, to go up to this bar, you have to go up all these stairs. This man stops at the bottom of the stairs with his two friends and waits for me and my friends to go up the stairs, get our IDs checked, pay cover, and go inside before he walks in. And I turn around and I see him just staring at me from the bottom of the stairs, waiting for me to finish. Oh my God, just like you can literally just say hey and that's it, and it wouldn't be a big deal. And you know what? He's not the only one. Because like he's not. There are more. This one guy, I was snapping him for months. I would see this man at the gym all the time and he would never say hi to me. Never. Ever. And you know what? One time I was working out right next to him for like 20 minutes, didn't say a word. And if you think that's bad, it's really not, because the same guy, one time I had literally just Snapchatted him first, by the way. I was in the Uber, my friend and I get out of the Uber to go in line for this bar, and we see him getting in line for the bar. And so obviously we're behind this man in line. We were in line right next to each other for an hour and a half, and he did not say hi to me once. And you know what? I did call him out for that. I did Snapchat him after he just like disappeared at one point. I Snapchatted him and I was like, I don't know, I called him out. I was like, wasn't that you in line or something? This man responded with, think I would have recognized you. I threw my phone. Another guy. I knew this man for like 4 years. We were snapping on and off. In those 4 years, we hung out a couple times somewhere in the middle of college. I don't know. This guy, oh my God, me and my friend were sitting at the bar, sitting at a table. He is sitting at the table right next to us. Keep in mind, the bar is empty because it's in the middle of summer. He is sitting at the table next to us, just Snapchatting me. And I told him to come say hi to me. He gets up, finally, after I tell him to come say hi, gets up, comes up to me, says, hey, I gotta go piss, and goes to the bathroom. What the Another guy. I hung out with him a couple times. My two friends that I was at the bar with one night were talking to his friends that they knew, and he was with them. And it was just me and him, not talking to anyone, standing right next to each other. This man took his hat, his baseball cap, brought it down to his eyes, like right here, and covered his eyes and just looked down so that he wouldn't have to make eye contact with me and have to say something. This is like so sad. You would think that this is all, but no. It keeps going. Another guy, hung out with him a couple times. I actually thought he was nice, and I actually did think he was, I thought he was nice, okay? This guy, I see him at the bar, he is just ignoring me, so I'm literally staring at him, waiting for him to say hi to me. I'm standing right next to him and just staring at him, waiting for him to say something. He doesn't say anything at all. He looks at me, but he doesn't say anything. And then 10 minutes after I left the bar, he Snapchats me and says something about me acting weird. I was like, why is it weird to expect you to say hi to me? No, like for real. Like, is it that weird for guys to say hi to you? Like, since when is that normal? Like, what? Anyways, I decided I was never gonna speak to a man again if they do that, and I have been boy sober for 9 months. So, yeah.
Her caption said, I can make multiple parts talking about this topic because what? It's so weird. Not too many parts though, because at some point in time, maybe one of those parts would be accountability, and we can stop it right there. As a matter of fact, if you take accountability for some of the stuff that you're doing, you might even have just a part 1 and a part 2. He did this and I hate him for it. Now in part 2, let's talk about the things that I did. And that's the end of the series. So no multiple 3, 4, 5, 6-part series about it. I was doing stuff. He did stuff. Let's see if we can work it out.
So what I really want to talk about today is that T app, that T dating advice, which is not even about dating. It's more about post this guy and bash him, say whatever you want to say about him, even if it happened 10 years ago or if it didn't happen at all. You guys are taking things out of context. You're making things up. You're bringing up family members, sisters, siblings, mothers, fathers, cousins, all this kind of information. And what you're really doing is ruining lives and hurting people's mental health. When someone hurts themselves, it's going to be on you. You're ruining lives. You're hurting people. You're being a hater. You're contributing to hate. You want to see more love and happiness in this world, but look at what you guys are doing. This is not okay. This is not Christian-like. This is not normal behavior. You guys have to get a grip on yourselves, literally. And you guys act like rumors don't happen and no one's ever said a rumor about you. I'm pretty sure they have, and you guys know exactly how it feels. So stop over-exaggerating. Stop reporting false information. Stop making shit up. Like, it's not okay. It's not worth it. You're literally degrading yourselves, degrading our men. If you're so worried about someone that's going to be an offender, I mean, if he's so bad, we would already know about him, 1. Number 2, there's a background check for a reason. And number 3, like I said, people change, people live, people learn. So if you're with me and you don't like this app, I suggest reporting it to the App Store, reporting the post, and don't contribute to the hate. And when people bring this topic up to you, shut it down. Shut it down. I hope to see this app gone, diminished. That's it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't want to see about it. Nothing. So please, stop contributing to this hateful trend and spread more positivity. I know you guys want to have each other's backs, but you're doing more harm than good.
Like, being in a relationship with a guy, you always have to consider that he might be an avoidant, especially if he's an entrepreneur, because avoidants make the best entrepreneurs. They know how to dismiss their feelings, dismiss other people's energy and feelings, and just plow through whatever it is that they want to do. But like, when you get in a relationship, there's a big probability the guy is going to be an avoidant and he's going to be dismissive. And I don't think most men understand that in order to love a woman, you can't dismiss her feelings or her emotions. Because if you constantly do that, not only is she going to feel invisible, but when you try to make it up to her, it's going to feel like you're doing it out of fear of disappointing her rather than she is worth this love and care and affection and attention. So yeah, and a lot of you guys pretend to be all there, all in, very much on top of our needs. And then once you get in a relationship with us, then it changes. And that is usually the most heartbreaking part for women. And the reason it feels so heartbreaking to us, it's because you're muting our feelings and our emotions when we know that the feelings and emotions is what brings color, pizzazz to life. Otherwise, we'd be just these monotone beings walking around like robots. And you're just muting us out. You know? It's so inconsiderate, and it makes us feel unsafe to share how we really feel. And when you're blindsided by us leaving, it's like, wait, you didn't tell me how you felt. You didn't express yourself. How can women express themselves when we do, you avoid it? Because you are like, oh, I don't want to hear another disappointment. I don't want to hear that you didn't like that I did this and how I couldn't follow through with that. And it's like, you know, I think that a lot of men don't understand how to build with us. They don't. Like, we're just there to exist with them. And women are starting to see it's not the most fulfilling thing. We get the most negativity. Your negativity is funneled through us so much faster than our negativity is funneled through you guys. And if there's men out there that want to be in relationships with women and you don't understand why you can't maintain a happy, healthy relationship with women, maybe you have to consider that for you to have that, you would have to accept the full scope of being with a woman, which is the feelings and the emotions, and them wanting to feel safe and wanting to express themselves and wanting to feel closer to you and bonded to you. Because what's happening is it's a snowball effect of women seeing and feeling that they're not being acknowledged. They're being treated like you don't matter. And they're just going to give up. The same way your wife or your girlfriend abruptly left is what women are doing now to men. They're saying, this is not going to go anywhere. So why try? And if men, you guys are happy with that, okay, cool. But if you're not, you gotta make a conscious effort to change this. And I don't want to hear no baloney about, oh, hookup cultures would change things. It's the internet. It's the women that can't pair bond because they're out here in these streets. Yeah, it's virgins complaining about this. It's girls that lost their virginity to their husbands are complaining about this. It's girls that have been with their longtime boyfriend since junior high complaining about this. It's women that have been married for 30, 40 years complaining about this. Something has to give. But if you want to be avoidant for the rest of your life and avoid the fact that you have to pursue this woman's heart until the end of days, the way you pursue that business, the way you're 100 with your boys, the way you're 100 when you're playing that video game, the way you're 100 and going so hard in the paint in the gym. Give 100 to your relationships. And if they don't work because what you're scared of is giving 100 and this relationship failing, then you're weak. Because businesses fail, bodies fail, a lot of things fail. Relationships included. You have to be mentally prepared for that. And if you're not, stop avoiding the preparation. Do the work. So you're strong enough for when that person says, I don't want to be with you. It's that simple.
So this is where women get in trouble because they don't use critical thinking skills. You're calling most men avoidant, especially the entrepreneurs. This is how most men know that you're not ready to be with an entrepreneur. If you're with an entrepreneur, you shouldn't just be existing in his life. You should be helping him out. He's going to need a lot of help if he's running his business. Okay, so he's going to need assistance, thinking, hey, I can do this for you. Hey, I can help in this way. How can you help towards the mission? Well, why would I help that man toward his mission? Well, look at Jeff Bezos. Look at some of the guys that go into the league. LeBron James, his wife, I presume, was there. I mean, she helped with the mission at some point in time. Aisha Curry was there at some point in time, maybe not the whole entire way, but I'm coming in, it's my job to take care of the kids. And that doesn't necessarily mean I'm taking care of the kids all the time, but I do have somebody that we trust that's been vetted by both of us while Steph is on the road to take care of the kids. Should I have to step out and come to one of his games and support him? But I'm with the kids, or I have somebody helping me with the kids. If I get too busy running a restaurant, that's my thing. So it's a lot of moving parts, give and take. It's hard. It's very taxing physically, mentally, emotionally, all of the above. But that's how you're going. That's how you're maneuvering, helping, operating with a man that's high value. You're talking about he's not paying you attention. He's not being emotionally available to you. The man, if he's an actual entrepreneur, is probably working. He's probably working a lot, day and night. He's burning the candle at both ends. What some of you ladies like to do is like you like to waste a man's entire time, his entire day, and he's got to make money. He's got to make a lot of money. And so therefore, if the man is pushing towards the goal of making that type of money as an entrepreneur, we're talking about a genuine entrepreneur now, he's going to be working. He's going to be thinking about work because that's his passion. That's what he loves to do. You guys want ambition from a man, but then when the man comes up with ambition, you don't like it. He should be obsessed with me. How is he going to be obsessed with you if he's obsessed with his vision, if he's obsessed with his goal? You're naturally going to come after that or beside that. That doesn't mean that he doesn't care about you. It's just before you came, he was running it. And after you came, he's going to continue to run it. If you decide that you don't want to be here, you can leave. He's going to continue to run it. Period. End of story. At a situation that happened in my life, maybe a couple of years ago now, with somebody, they decided they wasn't trying to go in the direction that I was going. Are you going to shut this down? Probably not. Are you going to quit going this way? Probably not. Parents got involved, decided to say, hey, we think that, this will be the best course of action for you. If you really cared, well, I guess I don't care. And that's not to be rude. That's not to sit up here and be like, well, I'm a stone cold, you talk to me, I'm standing on my values. No, I'm not being rude about it. I'm not trying to be a jerk about it. But respectfully, you guys just got here. And once again, that sounds harsh, but I've been building. I've been trying to do certain things. And you guys just walk up in here and try to change people's life. Just trying to make changes across the board, regardless of what anybody has said, regardless of the compromise anybody has made, regardless of what anybody is trying to do. You think that you're just going to come in here and sway them and just tell them what to do? A grown man, by the way, who you don't pay their bills? Huh? Are you crazy? And this is what you want from a man, especially an entrepreneur. You want to walk up in his life, take up his time, and then decide after how long is the average marriage? 5 to 8 years, something like that. 10 years, I think. After 10 years, you know what? I think I want to get off this train. I think I want to go do something else. And the man has stopped his mission and his goal to be with you. And you decide that's not enough. I'm going to go find somebody else. And now that man could have been running it for the last 10 years, but he stopped to try to help, take care, be with you, show you love and all that other stuff. But, I want a man that's ambitious. I was ambitious until you start complaining and whining and being emotional. I was doing what I was supposed to be doing until you stopped me from doing that. Until you complained and cried and whined and moaned about the stuff that I was doing. And I kept on trying to explain to you that I'm doing it so you can have a better life and the stuff that you want. So when we go in the mall, you don't have to talk about, I'm tired of window shopping. I'm doing it for you so you can go with your friends and brunch and you don't have to worry about what you spend. Relatively, like you don't go crazy, but I don't have to worry about if the tab is $50, $100, $200. I don't got to worry about it because we have enough money saved in the account to where I can do that type of stuff. Maybe not every day, but if we do it weekly or every other week, every month, I have enough money in the account to do that. That's what I'm working on for you, but it requires work. It requires work. And you guys will sit up in a car, will talk about how a man is not doing for you, and then neglect to mention how you're not doing for a man. Neglect to mention anything that would make you look bad. How you've been causing a problem. How you've been avoiding his feelings. How you hadn't been listening to what he said to you. Why you not texting me? It takes like 5 seconds to text. If you would come up to his job and take it or into his office and take a genuine interest in what he's doing, then you would see the vision. He could sit there and explain to you while he's working. Oh, come on. And most men will. Oh, come on in, babe. Here's what I'm doing. So this is, and you might not even care about it, but you care about what he's doing. You have an interest in him, so you care about what he's got going on. Oh, babe, I got this going on. I'm doing this. See, this is what this is. And your eyes just glazed over. I don't know what he talking about. I have no clue. But you might walk out of there talking about, yeah, great job, babe. You really mean it, but you don't know what he's talking about. I don't know. So as much as I can, I'm trying to support you, but I don't know what you're talking about. Ooh. And then you might just say after, 20, 30 minutes, what do you need from me? Are you hungry? Do you need me to bring you anything? Do you need some water? Do you need me to Uber Eats, DoorDash or something? What do you need from me? Oh, yeah, man, that'd be great. Can you get me some Asian food or whatever it is, right? So you can figure out ways to be of assistance. But when the focus in your mind is always on you, that's selfishness. It's what that is. You can sit up here and go on a long dissertation about it. It's not. It's just regular and all men are like this and yada, yada, yada. But you're dead wrong. And if you think that all men are like that, you need more help. You need to go back into therapy. You need to do better. Your critical thinking skills are shot. Period. End of story. I cannot believe that there are modern women out here talking about it's most men that are avoidant. Avoidant? Most men are not emotionally developed. No, it's just that you don't know how to communicate with them. If a man says something that you don't like, or you don't like the way it was said, then all of a sudden he didn't communicate effectively. But if you want a man to approach you, you expect that man to read all of the signals, just knowing you now, just knowing you for them 3 seconds now, just coming in, seeing you from across the room and being able to pick up on the signal. You want him to automatically understand what you're saying from across the room in a dimly lit room sometime. But when y'all are talking, y'all are in a relationship, then all of a sudden you can't understand him and you're not even going to try. What? Get help.